right, today we're in section 1.2, variables and expressions. We're in our textbooks on page 9 in your textbook. So first thing you need to know is some terms, all right? So these are terms that we're going to use throughout the year. Maybe they're terms that you already know. Terms like a variable expression, and what it means to evaluate. All right, so let's start with variable. A variable is a letter. It can be any letter of the alphabet, and it's used to represent a number. So we give it a value. In an equation, a variable can only have one value to make it true. In expressions, like the ones we're going to solve today, we can give it any value we want. And the important thing is that we learn to substitute those values for the variable. So here's what a variable expression is. An expression has, and you'll see right here that I've given you an example, it has a variable, a number, and an operation that connects them together. So what are my operations? Well, addition, subtraction, help me out, multiplication, and division. Those are my four basic mathematical operations. So those operations connect numbers and variables together. Okay, and based on the operation, that's basically how I simplify. And then to evaluate is just basically a fancy word for solve. Substitute the value for the variable and simplify. Okay, so we're simplifying it into into basically to solve it. All right, so take a minute to write down these terms, please. All right, so let's see what this looks like in examples. Okay, so there's going to be 3 steps to simplifying these expressions. The first step is so what I want you to do in your notes is to write the original expression, x plus 4. And what value do they give us for x? What value? It says x equals what? 9. X equals 9. So we plug in 9 where x goes in the expression, and we solve. 9 plus 4 is 13. All right, so 3 steps: original expression, substitution, and box to answer. I want you to go ahead and try to do the second one on your own. All right, so I've got y minus 3. My substitution, what's my value for y? 7 minus 3, and my answer is, class? 4. Very good. All right, so I want you to practice these 2 now on your own. Your turn now. 7 plus m when m is 9. And 10 minus a when a is 3. So kind of just practicing these steps. Expression, substitution, and a boxed answer. Alrighty, so we've got expression. What's my value for m? 7 plus 9. And my answer? 16. Alright, and then on my second one, I've got 10 minus a. So it's 10 minus 3. And my answer? 7. You say, Ms. Kinder, this is so easy. Well, yes, might be easy to you, but this is hopefully a good refresher for you, and we're definitely going to be building on it. I taught this lesson yesterday to pre-algebra, and it was just a little more complicated. So we can build off of this, but we've got to start somewhere. All right, so that's example 1. Now in example 2, again, we're just doing our substitutions and solving, except now it's a different operation. I've got 4n here. There's nothing in between my number and my variable. So if they're together, what does it mean, Blake? Multiplication, okay? So we don't write the dot, we don't write an x, we just put the variable and the number together, and that means multiplication. However, when I substitute it, I have to use parentheses to show multiplication. I can't just say 46, right? No, because that's not correct. It's multiplication. So now I have to use parentheses to show that I'm multiplying the numbers together. Questions on that? All right, so 4 times 6 is what? 24. 24. All right, go ahead and do the second one, please. Okay, so original, whoops, that was a bad z. Z over 2 equals 8 over 2 which equals what, guys? 4. Good. All right, so now I want you to do these two, okay? Evaluate 9s when s equals 5, and 100 over t when t equals 10. All right, so 9s, substitute what for s? What do I substitute? 5, okay? So it's not 95, right? What do I need to remember? Parentheses around my 5. So 9 times 5 is what? 45. 45. All right, and then 100 over t, substitute what? 10. So 100 over 10. And what is my answer? 10. All right, now in example 3, I'm using two variables now. Okay, so you have a section on your homework tonight that involves substituting for more than one variable. So you just have to make sure that you plug in the right number for the right variable. In this case, we have an ice hockey example that says to find the total number of points for the expression G plus A when G equals the number of goals and A equals the number of assists. Find the number of points earned by a hockey player who had 12 goals and 29 assists. All right, so here's what I start with, my original expression. What's the expression that I'm using here? There we go. Very good, Venetia. G plus A. And what's my substitution? What do I plug in for G? What do I plug in for G, guys? 12. And what do I plug in for A? 29. So I just add them together, and it's 41. But remember, because it's a word problem, I have to label, so 41 what? Points. And I've solved. All right, so let's try a couple. Your turn now on example 3. I want you to make your substitutions and try to solve these expressions. So now we have more than one variable. We plug them in and then we solve. All right, so we've got 3a plus 4b. Okay, what's my value for A? Equals 3 times 2 plus 4 times 3, which equals, what's 3 times 2? 6 plus 12. So that equals 18. Good job, guys. All right, so 18 is my answer. All right, and then on the next one, I've got A plus B. Make my substitution. 54 plus 10. And what's my answer? 64. All right, anybody get both of those right? Get both of them right? All right, very good. Well, if you understand that, that's everything you need to know for 1.2.